Welcome to Command Control Power, the longest-running Apple consulting podcast. For over 10 years, we've produced weekly episodes featuring epic tales of tech support and troubleshooting, discussions about managing our clients and businesses, and interviews with colleagues and vendors. For our pro listeners, we offer Patreon-exclusive shows. This private podcast feed is tailor-made for IT professionals looking for advice and guidance on the more challenging aspects of running your practice, working with your clients and employees, and managing your fleets of devices. For a modest monthly contribution, you'll unlock a world of deeper Apple expertise, meaningful connections, and a shared passion for Apple technology. Simply visit commandcontrolpower.com and click support. And now on to the show. Command Control Power is brought to you commercial-free thanks to the support of our community. Our VIP supporters include Jason Detbarn of Adigy.com, Watchman Monitoring, and Adam Angst of Tidbits Content Network. Thanks very much for supporting the show. Welcome to Command Control Power, featuring Justin Esgar of ACES, featuring the Vision Pro.
No, I thought you guys would be live here and I could touch your face. I want to be near somebody. This is actually really disorienting because I'm looking at a teleprompter through Vision Pro, through lenses, and it's very disorienting. I'm going to take it off. I do look, it doesn't look as bad as people say, though. I do look like I'm going skiing, right?
Yeah. It looks like ski goggles. Agreed. Yeah.
Skiing with,
I hate the cold.
You're in the wrong state.
Trust me, I've tried to convince the wife to move to Florida multiple times, and her answer is it's too humid. And I'm like, it's 60 degrees outside, and it's not humid at all.
She's not wrong though.
She's I feel it. I can feel it in my skin. I was like, all right. So
what is the verdict on the Vision Pro, Justin, before we get into more important topics?
The verdict is it comes apart really easily.
Yeah,
I think by design. I'll tell you this. What I do really love about it is the ability for it to connect to like your laptop. So like I have a big monitor here, so I don't need it down here. But when I'm working off my laptop upstairs or whatever, using it as a display for that is clutch because your 13-inch MacBook Pro, you guys all make a lot of money. I'm sure all of you guys got like M3 Ultras or some ish going on. But you can make that instead of the 13-inch, you can make it as big as you want, which is pretty awesome. And then whilst that's going on, you can turn your head slightly to the right and be watching X-Men 97 on Disney Plus. All in one fell move, which is really awesome.
I don't know, man. I have a hard time listening to podcasts while I work anymore. So I don't know about multitasking between the movie over here and like a client screen here. And
I'll tell you why it works. If anyone listens to the other shows that I'm on, I have been tragically moving 90 terabytes of data over a 1 gig pipe from one Synology to another for the last 3 weeks watching them. So I will just have, like it's horrible. So have my laptop on the Vision Pro in cast mode, remoted into this computer, watching that. So I have that over here, and I was watching What If from Marvel in the Disney over here. And I'm going back and forth, and my wife comes home, and she just sees me sitting at the kitchen table like, okay. Okay. And she's like, what's wrong with you?
I can relate. So that feature, of course, this is what all of our colleagues are talking about, is like the ability to like use it as a giant Mac display. And in theory, it's if I'm in the market for a bigger display, Vision Pro is like an incremental cost over, let's say, more than 2x the cost. But anyway, it's in the ballpark as like a really nice monitor. But the amount of sort of infrastructure you need, like you still need your laptop and that needs to be charged. So I'm thinking about this like in terms of if I'm traveling and I'm on a plane, like I think you mentioned earlier, great for watching movies. What better place do you want to watch a movie than on a plane where you just really don't want to be where you are? You don't want to pretend you're somewhere else. So it's a great idea for that. And also maybe I can work while I'm on a plane and bring up have a massive screen in front of me and not be like craning my neck looking down at this little tiny screen. But of course, I still need the Mac there. So I need to travel still with everything I travel with now. Since we're doing video, okay, so I need that whole bag, right, for my Mac and power adapters and whatnot. Then I need a separate backpack to transport the Vision Pro, and I need extra power for that. So I don't.
You're not working on a plane. Joe, the problem is that you're flying Spirit Air, and they only give you half a tray to put your laptop on. You can't do that. If you got to travel in style. If you're flying first, and it's anything but United Boeing flights, you'll be fine. Then it's fine. I wouldn't do work with it on the plane. I would watch a movie. What's nice is the immersion. Like they have that immersive thing where like it blocks everything out. The problem with it is that if you do that on a plane, right? Because like in the Disney one, you could be in Avengers Tower, which is totally see all my Iron Man stuff, right? I think that's awesome. You got a big Hulk buster over there and all the artifacts and whatever it is. And you're on a plane and you're like immersed by this. You're watching this movie, you're totally into it. And then you just hear brace. You're gonna be like, what's happening in the movie? And you're not realizing that you're going to die. CCP being grim here live. What's up? I didn't buy the carrying case. That's the other thing, right? The thing is expensive.
Oh, the case is nice though, Justin.
Hold on. The Apple case. No, forget the Apple case. There's another company. Someone else who may or may not work with Sam bought one, but they make this really nice leather case from some other company. It's like $20 cheaper, but it's still $200 on top of a $3,500 plus device. And the battery life is, I use it once a week maybe, and I'm constantly charging it. So I get it. I like it. I was excited to buy it. I wasn't sure I was going to right at the gate. And then I bought it day one, and I went to the store to pick it up. And I was like, how many people bought this? And they were like, you're the fourth. I was like, okay, let's see where this is going.
I put mine on layaway, so I'll get it in a few months.
Yeah, I was thinking of buying it like just to return, just to get the experience of what's 2 weeks with the Vision Pro. Because I really do feel like it's pretty early, like from the other reports I read and from your feedback, using it once a week. I can't spend $3,500 to use something once a week that I don't really need in my life. Added value, but the
Apple Card, you put on the Apple Card, don't think about it as $3,500. Think about it as $300 a month for the next 36 months. It's a car payment.
If only I could get one for free someday, that would be awesome.
Oh man! Yeah, how could we get one for free? Is there any
way?
That's
the worst segue ever.
You could become an ACN.
Let's jump to the end of it.
Are we all getting them for free? Yeah.
I heard that they're bringing back the coupons. You can use the coupons only for this.
Oh yeah, that'd be great actually.
Yeah. It's got its pluses and minuses. I will tell you this much. I was on the phone with Alex Heichel over at Scout, and we were, because he's got one also, we were joking around, and I was like, let's FaceTime and look at our avatars. And the second we pulled up both avatars, we just started laughing because my avatar, I look like Vin Diesel's grandfather in my avatar. Wow. It's horrible. And it's supposed to get better. It's still really new. If you're into technology and you want to play with something new and you have money to burn, go for it. Try to get one for free. We'll talk about that in a bit. But otherwise, I would wait a little bit. And you know what the kicker is? Apple Vision Pro. Like, we've all been in the market long enough. Apple doesn't put the word Pro at the end of something unless they're going to put Air at the end of something else. So, like, the Apple Vision Air, which basically is just going to be like a pair. This is them. They're like, here's the Apple Vision Air. Here you go. They're just reading glasses. That's all it is. You know what I mean? That's bound to happen.
The ultimate Apple con would be glasses that are actually just glasses, and they don't actually do anything, but they just they sell it to you with a really nice box.
That's something that Johnny probably would have invented, right? Yeah, really nice frames, but no glass. Yeah.
So the other thing is that was tempting me to get involved in this because, like you were describing, it's a new platform. Which doesn't happen all that often. The watch came along that was new. The iPad is, quote, just a big iPhone. There haven't been really like major new platforms in this industry in quite a while. So is there any kind of like first mover advantage you could see? Is there room for someone to come along and create maybe more of those virtual experiences? I know what you want to say, but give me like your second answer, not the first thing to come to mind for, because we're all thinking it, but what's the first mover advantage in this Vision Pro era or Vision Air era someday, hopefully?
The fact that you can leave things around, because the whole idea of that spatial computing is you can leave windows around, right? Mm-hmm. So if I wanted to have, my best example here is to go cook. If you're cooking, let's say you're cooking, you have your recipe card up here, and then you want to have timers on all of your pots and pans. You can drop timers on those pots and pans and then turn your head to go do something else and then come back, and those timers are still floating over those pots and pans, which I think is dope.
Yeah.
So those are cool things. The funny thing, though, is you forget where you leave things sometimes. So, like, I was on a FaceTime with we have a good friend named Tim over in Creative Techs, big fan of CCP, big fan of mine. I love you, Tim. And anyway, so I was on FaceTime with him, and I forgot to grab the window with me as I walked around my house. And I just started walking. I wasn't even paying attention because, like, I figured, oh, you're in my ears, whatever. And I came downstairs to my office, and I was like, where is he? And I, like, look up through my ceiling. There's a floating card. that I had to grab. And I like literally had to reach up and be like, and it like flew itself down and came back into my face. And he's like, you just got a lot louder. I was like, you were an entire story above me.
That's actually cool. Now I want one just to experience that.
Yeah.
So those are fun. I saw on the Apple Vision Pro subreddit, somebody, if you have a small apartment, I think this works. If you're really big into HomeKit, you can actually just leave the Home app like on your wall and walk away. And this way you can come back and I want to turn all my lights on. You just walk back to the wall and just like magically do this. So there's cool stuff you can do with it.
See, the thing about all of this, it's like, it's very compelling when you describe it like that. Like I can walk over here and touch a thing that's like virtually on my wall, and I can leave a window. I can leave a timer on the rice while it's cooking or whatever.
Yeah.
All it requires is $3,500 and a thing to be on your face all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
It's not a trivial thing, like to just have to always have this thing on your head.
The other thing is I don't have the strap that goes over. I have it in the drawer, but I don't use that. And somebody was like, that strap is super uncomfortable. So they bought another one of these and they like zip tied it to the side because it's hefty. Like it's a solid 6-7 pounds, I think. And to have that just sitting on your face at all times is hefty. I think Apple did make the right move by having it so that way when you are wearing it, your eyes show through here. As creepy as it is, I think that's cool. I would like to see some like updates to this. Remember when the touch bar came out for the MacBooks, right? Yeah. The first thing that came out for that was somebody invented the Knight Rider light. That
was awesome.
Do that with this. Yeah. Do that like that, right? Or if I'm watching a movie, I want it to display like "Leave me alone." I'm watching a movie and like the name of the movie or something. Which, for those who are thinking the second thing, could get them in trouble, but it's got a long way to go. I think there's a lot. I actually came up with this really awesome app idea, and I talked to Scott Immerman over at SealTech about this. I want to, by the way, this will never work, so it doesn't matter. I want a way that I can use the Apple Vision Pro and look at my dogs to know how full their bladder is. So I know when I have to take them out to pee. Like I want a bladder meter just floating, like floating over the dog.
Right. You could just set a timer, like when you take them out for their walk, you can set a timer like on like countdown until the next time they have to go out. So
like a health bar from like a video game.
If you tag the dog, will it track the dog? Or will it stay in the place that you last tagged the dog?
That's a good question.
I don't think it has the ability to move yet. I think you just leave the window where it is. So I don't know. I'd have to play with it more. But again, I'll have to fit that into my once a week playing with this.
Yeah.
This really reminds me. Excuse me, Joe. You guys ever read the Neil Stephenson book Snow Crash?
No.
It's one of my favorite books.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
Did they make a movie out of it? Because I don't read books.
No, I thank God they didn't. It's a fantastic book, and they talk about the metaverse, and this is exactly like it. It's deep in the metaverse with all the tags on people and locations and buildings. It's a great book.
The big difference that Apple went through was the ability to I'm going to put this in quotes, see through the device, because you're not really seeing through anything. Which because I had an Oculus over there, it's closed off. You can't see through it. The see-through part, I think, is a massively important part to it. But like when I'm looking at somebody, or even I'm looking at my own hand, if you want to know what it's like to look at your hand in the Apple Vision Pro, grab your phone, open up your camera app, look at your hand, and then put your camera right to your face, because that's what it is. So, and when you look at text, like if I was going to look at a book, like the title will be fine until I move my head a little bit, and then it gets like motion blur.
Mm-hmm. You do read books, Justin. There you go.
Well, I'm in this book, so and Mark Coben's a good friend. So buy Mark Coben's book, MSP Secrets Revealed. I think I'm on page 217. Somewhere in there. I didn't even mark my own page.
I like how you said, I think I'm on page 117. I'm page
217, is that me?
217.
I'm somewhere in here. Hold on.
Nice. Can I just buy that page? Is that page available?
205. Here we are. Talking about mergers and acquisitions. There I am. Justin Esgar, Virtual Computers. There it is. 205.
Nice.
Get that.
Can I buy that page?
Yeah, it's a funny concept though, like you're describing, because you're meant to think that you're seeing through it, like it's augmented reality, but it's actually like a virtual reality that is passing through actual reality and then overlaying augmented
Spatial
reality
computing.
on top of it.
That's what they named it.
It's a whole new thing. You could see them doing that with those glasses that have just transparent lenses that have a little screen. When technology improves, they'll be able to do that. In the meantime, they need to engineer this multi-pound device and very limited battery life with extra cameras and a lot more than they would need otherwise. If they could just show your eyes through the lenses, you wouldn't need the front-facing cameras and stuff.
I'm on a tech site with a bunch of ACNs in LA, and Ben Levy from Rock and Pete sent a picture earlier today of a guy at a gym wearing the Apple Vision Pro and the AirPod Max headphones. And I zoomed in and I noticed that he was wearing a Whoop, which is a fitness tracker bracelet thing. And I was like, and I wanted to call out this guy. So I was just like, I can't believe that guy would wear a Whoop in public. What's wrong with him? And now I was like, that's not what the problem is with this photo. I was like, why doesn't he have an Apple Watch? Make it just make the set complete, guys. Since he's wearing a Whoop, who wears those?
Right,
ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's an interesting era to be part of. I'm glad. I think it has just enough traction where it will be lasting. I don't see Apple. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't see them making a misstep here, like where they create this entire new platform, engineer this device, and start selling it and marketing it. If they thought, if it doesn't work, we'll pull the plug in 6 months. Like, I'm pretty sure they have enough data to know that it's probably going to be here like indefinitely and just get better.
They've done that before. What happened to the Apple iPod Hi-Fi? Where are my iPod socks? Where'd those go? Like, they've made, granted, maybe not so much of an investment as they did in this thing.
Right. The Apple car.
But
that's a good point.
They have made missteps. I don't think it's going away either. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that could come of it. I like playing some of the games that are on there, letting friends come over and play Fruit Ninja and watching them just try not to kick like my plants over when they're trying to figure out how to do things in midair. Like, that's a lot of fun to watch. I think it's better. I think it's more fun to watch people use it than actually use it yourself.
Interesting. Yeah.
So,
One last point on that I thought was really interesting. I think I saw this in one of Kara Swisher's podcasts. She referred to an old interview she did with Steve Jobs where he said, this was in 2005. This is actually, I'm not sure if this was an interview with her, with someone else, but I think she referenced it. In 2005, Steve Jobs said, there's no such thing as headphones for video. And now we do have that. Now we have basically headphones for video, and they just cost $3,500, and they are very heavy and they sit on your face. But if you think back to the headphones that used to be the standard, like this kind of style, it probably will evolve to become more like AirPods, or you just have
amazing too. I mean, they do the spatial thing, which I don't particularly care for. You turn your head, it's louder and one ear than the other. But like, I've watched a couple movies on this. You know what really gets me? If you watch a sad movie, and let's be honest, we're men, we have emotions. Sometimes we cry. You can't get your finger in to wipe your eye because like the thing is sitting so close on your nose that if you put your finger in there, it like lifts it up and it pauses everything. And you got to bring it back down, and then you got to do the stupid unlock code, which is annoying, and then you can go back to crying.
I haven't heard anybody complain about not being able to cry in the Apple Vision Pro. I don't think I would have expected that to come from you, Justin. So I'm gonna write
a nasty letter and I'll have it posted on the unofficial Apple weblog. That's still around, right?
What movie made you cry is the next question.
There you go. Great question.
I could guess maybe a Hugh Grant film, a Jane Austen.
Yeah, it was Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness.
Had to be Marvel, of course.
Yeah, but you can. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. You can get a free one. There's a way to get a free one, but we'll get into that later.
Let's get into it.
I think let's get into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, get into it. It's your show. I'm not going to lead.
Hey, I see.
By the way, let me just interject. If you are listening to the audio version of this, you have to go to YouTube and you have to watch the video version of this. Stop your players now. Go to YouTube.
Pull over. If you're listening to this in the car, this is what I tell people on ours, right? If you're listening to this in the car, please pull over first, open up your phone, write down that you have to go to youtube.com/ at command control power. I'm assuming for you guys. And then when you get to your destination safely, then go ahead and watch the hilarity that is this show. Yeah. I love the fact that you guys now are also using Streamyard, which I think is an amazing platform. I wish they paid me to say that because I don't know how many shows I've done with you, whether it was for ACES or not ACES. You guys used to use Skype with Ecamm, the Ecamm recorder back in the day, right? But that's how long I've been around with you guys.
Up until
just
there was
a couple of Zooms, and then this, like, you guys stepped it up. I like it. I love Streamyard.
We've been evolving. Yeah, we have our very own Jerry Zygmunt to thank for the Streamyard.
We're really hipping with it, Justin. We're really with it.
I talk about the street credibility of the fact that's how long we've been doing this, is that we started on Skype. Back then, Skype was it. That was the audio. That was how every podcast was recorded. That was how like VoIP phone calls were made for a lot of people. Now we have any number of other options, and it's.
I couldn't remember which Skype login I needed to talk to you guys. It'd take me like 20 minutes to remember which Microsoft login I was using at the time. I had to find the one where like I had a DM from like you or Sam or something like that, being like, "This is
welcome
the one."
to our world.
I saved it, so I knew.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we are, March 20th as we're recording, and we have ACES coming up in less than 2 months, right?
Yeah, man. ACES Conference 2024 coming live. We're back live. We're live again. Yeah. Yay. We're back in person. I'm very excited for this.
Awesome.
Joe, what is ACES Conference? Can you tell our listeners who are new to
maybe the master of ceremonies, Justin Esgar, can tell us about ACES.
Yeah, ACES Conference. What is it? Okay, so ACES Conference is it's all about the business of IT consulting for IT consultants and a lot of ACNs, mainly because I am one. So that's why I've always bugged you guys over the last 10 years. We don't talk tech. We don't do terminal. I'm sorry. If you want to learn about how to use profiles, this isn't the place. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk about management. We're going to talk about performance and anxiety. Anything, the bottom line is how do you make more money? And it's always been focused on that business side because I truly believe that as a small business owner and knowing so many of you out there are all in the same boat, right? We're all in the same boat. How do we make our business better? How do we get more clients? How do we make more money? How do we spend more time with our families when we're so busy dealing with telling people to restart it for the 400th time in the day? And yes, while our businesses have definitely changed in the last 10 years and the type of tickets and the type of questions we're getting from clients may have changed, the business aspects still hold true. There's new things that you got to learn. There's ways to better yourself. There's ways to protect yourself better. There's a lot of new laws that are coming out. There's ways to do better marketing. And so that's what ACES is pretty much in a nutshell. And CCP's very own Sam Valencia is going to be speaking at the conference this year. So I'm really excited about that.
Yes, I am. Yeah,
that's exciting.
What are you planning to talk about, Sam? What's the scope of your?
Yes, Sam. What are you planning on talking about?
I'm bringing up the rear on the last day. I'm talking about mistakes I've made along the way building my MSP practice. So I've made plenty of mistakes, let's put it that way. And a lot of them have been public on this show. So it's a great time to just talk about them with everyone at ACES conference.
Yeah, we have this year. So Steph Hilfer and Tim Fitzpatrick, Steph from Vim and Tim's Realtor Marketing. We're going to do a branding and a marketing session. We got that going on. Melanie Curtis, who's been with the ACES conference for quite some time now and runs our ACES Mastermind program. I'd love to get into that in a second. And Sean Spencer, who is a famed coach. He's been on TV. He's taking care of the basketball wives. He's got 3 books out. He's an ex-Olympian, and he worked at the Pentagon for a while. The two of them are going to be talking similar talks, but a little different topics. Sean's going to be talking about performance anxiety for how it relates to athletes and bringing it to our level of being business owners. And Melanie's going to talk about courage. Melanie is a world record skydiver. She's done, I want to say it's 1,000 jumps. I don't know if it's true or not, but she did a jump with 100 other women last year. It's the world's largest synchronized jump. It's sick. It's awesome. You got to watch that.
That's crazy.
So we love her. Yeah. And then a couple of names that everybody should know. Will O'Neill's going to be speaking. Brian Best is coming back. He's our John Ratzenberger. He speaks at every ACES. Lucas Acosta from Fuji, Ben Morales of Sirius, and Adam Angst from Tidbits all going to be speaking at the event. And Apple is going to be there for we keep saying the first time, but that's not 100% true. If anyone remembers Mimi, she was there in 2015 for a hot minute. Yeah. But a couple, I can't say who, but you guys can figure this out. Members of the Apple consultants team will be in attendance, and Apple's doing a session. We're locking up the details, so I don't want to talk about it right now, but it's going to be either some sort of training, not for the tests, I apologize, but some sort of training to make your business better, or it's basically allowing us to just throw rotten tomatoes and cabbages at the consultants team for making us take that test. So they'll be in, and then we have some really awesome sponsor sessions happening. Halo PSA is going to be there. Lion Guard, Jamf, Kaseya, the All Things MSP podcast is going to be doing the dinner. iMazing and Boss Up, and there's 2 sponsors. We're just finishing up with them now, but I know it's going to be taken care of. So Adage is going to be involved, and Super Ops will be involved. And Super Ops is what we were talking about earlier, is giving away an Apple Vision Pro at ACES conference. You can win an Apple Vision Pro and then still be able to fly Spirit Airlines without a problem, without breaking your bank, potentially at the conference. So we have a lot happening. It's 2 days of content. We're doing a welcome party. If this plans out, we're going to do a really awesome murder mystery incident response, like someone got hacked. Can you figure out who kind of program
Cool.
the night before? And then 2 full days of like content to make your business better. And that's what it's about. And I'm super excited to be back in person. And we're going to Salt Lake City. So it's gonna be awesome.
So anyone who attends can get into the drawing for the Vision Pro. Is that right?
Yeah. If you come to the you got to be at the conference. We'll set the rules then, but it's basically you got to talk to all the sponsors, get a stamp, then you can be entered. We're giving away a couple of iMazing licenses also.
So it's like a Where's Waldo thing where you got to go to all these places to finally get the prize.
Well, luckily it's all in one big building, so it's fine.
And I have one more question about the Vision Pro. Will it have any Justin Esgar head sweat on it?
You're not winning mine.
We'll put it back in the box.
Yeah, we'll give you an iTunes gift card and we'll let you buy your own.
So it's in a factory sealed container.
Factory sealed, brand new.
All right.
You know what? We would give it away at the show, but the whole thing about it being fitted to your face, right? Like this piece, there's 58 versions of just the goggles, they told me, because there's different face sizes and noses and eyes and whatever. Apple's weird like that. So yeah, you can win that. iMazing is giving away a couple licenses for their software. We're gonna have some like awesome swag to give away. So it's gonna be a good time, and you're gonna want to be there. That's for sure.
Yeah. Aside from the swag, it's all about the hallway sessions, as we've always said, and the business content. It goes back to the origin of this show, basically. If you go back to like before this show, before the ACES conference, before a lot of these different meetups, we had the mailing lists where we talk about business, and we had some conferences with Apple. And those were some of my favorite things about this industry, because here I was coming into this as a nerd, a guy who like was interested in technology and who maybe had the ability to sell my services like in some casual way with clients, but I had no real business experience, no experience operating my business, how to position my services, what the kind of state of the art was, what the best practices were. It's all stuff we just figured out individually. And you can learn the tech. There's plenty of resources for that, but how do you learn the business? And so when you came along with ACES, 10 years ago, is that right?
10 years. This will be our 10th year. We were started in 2015. It's weird to think that we started in 2015. It's 10 years ago, but that's how calendars work.
That's how times work. Yeah. Yeah. So this would be the 10th ACES, right?
Yeah.
And and you're back live. And it's just a great opportunity for people to have those, just get that education in business and then also share in that knowledge with other people, because you can reinforce that. Like, talking to people after after somebody's talk, I thought that was really interesting when she said this, and then you like to exchange information and talk about how that's going to fit into your own business, how you're planning on taking action about things. It's really that high bandwidth kind of communication that you can have in person, or maybe if we have the Vision Pro in the future, but in person, we have that very easy access to talking to each other casually and sharing in that knowledge and collaborating. And I think that's just a great opportunity for people to get together on this occasion of the ACES conference. And kudos to you, Justin, for doing this for 10 ACES. Not easy. Like it's hard enough running our business and like doing the show, waltzing in at the last second sometimes to record. I can't imagine also running a conference where people are like showing up and you're responsible for their food and water.
I have a laundry list every day. Like I didn't have a lot of tickets today, which is great. And I was like, I should get stuff done for ACES. And instead I just had a nervous panic attack and cried on my couch with my Vision Pro on so nobody saw me. What you said though about learning about your business, what's amazed me about ACES, I started ACES because when I started my business in 2008, I was doing all the things that my old boss that I started with in 2004 did. And that guy didn't know how to run his business. He drove his business into the ground. He owed people money all the time, and he was always yelling at clients. Like it was a disaster. And here I am doing running my business the same way. Not to downplay it, but I was using FileMaker for tickets at the time because that's what he did. Or I was like, I would order parts and wait 3 days to take care of a client because that's what he did. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. And so I started ACES like to really just make my own business better. And then I realized what this is about, which is really, I love helping all of you. I love helping the community do better. And when I hear stories about people who have their businesses have grown, forget 1x or 2x. There are people who've been at ACES that have grown 10x because of the stuff that they're learning at the conference. It warms the cockles of my heart, man, because it tells me that 1, what we're doing is right, and 2, it just makes me feel so good. And I'm in it for the emotional I really need to feel something. I need some like emotional touching here. Like I want that. And to hear these like positive stories from people, it blows my mind just how well some people do it. And it's just even just being inspired by a single presentation. I remember ACES 1 in New Orleans. I remember all of them, but this particular example. And we had Jason Womack be our keynote speaker. And Will O'Neill happened to have been speaking there also. I've known Will many years. And when we did the post interview, we only had 55 people at that conference. And I remember like, I was I thought I got a room block for 250 people. I thought this thing was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread for Apple consultants. And I'm very public about this. I lost $20,000 that first year because of that room block, which is why I'm writing a book called Don't Start a Conference. And the one page in it says, don't, and that's it. But anyway, so that first conference, I asked, who was the best speaker? Who did you learn the most from? And it was really interesting to me, the divide between the people who said Jason Womack and the people who said Will. And it was, if you had been in business more than 7 years. If you're in business less than 7 years, Jason hit you better. And if you're in business more than 7 years, Will hit you better, which was amazing because it's not like either of them were bad. And people who were in less than 7 did learn from Will, and people who were more than 7 definitely learned from Jason. But like, it shows this breadth of knowledge across all of our speakers that we have to be able to do like wherever you are in your business. If you are just starting off and you're a new ACN or a new MSP, or you've been in business for as long as all of us have, there's always stuff to learn, and there's always ways to make your business better. And to be honest, to be 100% honest, seeing the people who persevered over the last 3 years of what has been going on outside and the BS of COVID and pandemic and dealing with clients and whatever, like to see the people who have persevered through that is amazing. And I'm going to take a little bit of credit for it for ACES. Because it wouldn't be me if I wasn't, right? Be like, I'm profitable now. Adam, yeah. I wish I could attend ACES 1 all over again, dude. Adam is a great example. Adam's a 10-timer. So shout out to Adam Rice over at Ask Adam in I think it's in Pennsylvania. Dude, like that's what I'm talking about. That's what it's about. And so coming and learning these pieces of information from any one of our speakers is really what's going to drive your business and bring you to another level. And I know a lot of us are like, I'm content where I am and I don't need, you do need to take it to another level, because what you forget is if you're not moving up, you're moving down, because you could eventually lose clients. There's a lot of people who, Steve Sorbo, love Steve Sorbo over at Mac SOS. Talk about this dude all the time. 10-timer ACES, right? He's been constantly making his business better and growing year over year because of the stuff he's learning at the conference. Because he knows that, and he only does home users, right?
Yeah.
So like some home users, they just aren't users anymore in some way, shape, or form. So he's been able to grow his business and keep going all these years. Because that's what it's about. You got to keep growing. You got to keep moving. Even if you're not like, I want to 2x my business, I want to 10x my business. You don't have to do that. Just keep moving forward, and you're going to learn something here. And that's what this is about.
You've got to grow at the rate of inflation at least, or like you said, you are losing ground. If you're just making the same money every year with inflation, it has less purchasing power. It's less money, literally. So I never quite understood that. I had a few years ago, I thought to myself, like, is growth the right thing? Do I need to grow? This was maybe 10 years ago, thinking like this instinct to grow. Like you always want to have more clients, more, maybe a separate office, maybe more staff. It's like the idea of growth is built into like just our culture in some ways. And so I questioned it, like, was that really something that needs to happen? But thinking it through, like with, again, in regards to even just inflation, like you actually do have to grow or you're contracting. It's as simple as that. And better yet, if you can grow, I really think that 2x to 10x is within almost everyone's reach, probably, unless you've already really squeezed out like a lot of that advantage. Because I know in my world, there's clients that I'm making less money from and spending more time on, that I'm talking to my team about on a regular basis. There's circular complaints about these certain clients and things like that. And there's other clients where they have the budget, they don't complain, they would spend more money. And if we would give them more attention, we would be making more money. probably with less effort. So even just like on a very simple level of analyzing your client base and analyzing the type of work that you do and the profitability of that work, we all can make those kinds of improvements. And I really do think that getting together with colleagues is the right way to have these conversations. We all have the same type of business generally, and we can learn a lot from each other. People have been through it, and people who can just get up there and inspire us to take those next steps.
The other piece is it's not only about growth, it's also about efficiency within your business, right? Because there's two ways to look at growth. Growth could be, I'm going to get more clients, I'm going to make more money. Or I'm going to make my time worth more by becoming more efficient, right? Yeah. And if you become efficient, you realize that what used to take you 10 hours only takes you 1. You're still making the same amount of money. Technically, you're making more money. And granted, that might not be true in terms of dollars to inflation and that kind of math. But if you took a 10-hour project and get it done in 1, you now have 9 hours left. Spend an hour and a half crying at Multiverse of Madness with your Apple Vision Pro and take the next 7.5 hours and go find a new product to sell to your clients, do a QBR, talk to your friends and colleagues, help someone out, learn something, take another test, read a book that make your... The reason this book is on here is not really because I'm in it as part of it, but I'm learning so much from it. After this, I have Mike Michalowicz, who's our keynote speaker in Arizona, did a forward for this one, the Pumpkin Plan for Managed Service Providers. Like, this is my next one.
What did you on in there?
0. I haven't, you notice where my pen is, I'm still stuck on this one.
I want to write a book. Justin, I love the Pumpkin Plan. I learned about that at ACES. It's a great concept. I joke that Sam used to have the Munchkin Plan because he would go into the Apple store with the Munchkins. Just like, that's my plan. My plan is just give people donuts and see what happens.
Yeah, people love donuts, man. Yeah. I went to PSU Mac Admins, by the way, and one of the vendors there had Duck Donuts. They were giving away Duck Donuts, which is like a Mid-Atlantic. If you're Mid-Atlantic to Florida, if you know it, these are the most amazing donuts ever. And I was like, are those Duck Donuts? They were like, yeah. And I was like, dude, can I have one? He's like, you can have all of them. For whatever reason, no one's eating them. And I like took a dozen donuts and made away from the thing.
Duck Donuts? I mean, is this like duck pin bowling? What's the
No, it's just called Duck Donuts. I don't know. Google it. Google it, find one near you. And
I don't often encounter a type of donut that I haven't already had. So this is
Duck Donuts. Fresh made, apple pie, delicious.
This is the kind of value you can get from ACES conference.
This is the hallway track. This is what we're talking about. Exactly. How do you stay awake all night, programming those API codes? Oh, I'm just downing donut after donut.
Sugar highs.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean, what's funny is that Sean Spencer, who's speaking at the conference, I was making a joke because we had our speaker meeting yesterday, and I was making a joke. Sean was actually originally my wife's trainer before we got married, and then eventually became my trainer. And I introduced him as, everybody, this is Sean Spencer, my trainer. Sean, don't get mad at me. I've gotten fat. That was like the end of it. Because like he didn't know how to take it from there. It's because of the donuts, man. It's really weird.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Are they going to be at ACES? Are we going to have some Duck Donuts over there? Or
what?
I don't know if they have Duck Donuts in Utah. I got to call Lucas over there and see if, not Ed, right? Ed Lucas over at 215 Tech, who's been my boots on the ground out there. I'm going to have to hit him up and see what kind of donuts we can get for...
Now I really want a donut.
Speaking of Lucas, you mentioned Lucas is doing a talk there, Lucas Acosta.
Lucas Acosta, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of growth, that's what his talk is all about, just how he took Fuji on this growth path. And he talked a little bit about it here on the show, also on the Mac Admins podcast, but sounds like a deeper dive that could be really interesting for people also as a case study about how do you take your processes and create like an operating system for your company to then have more efficiency and go after, more. Yeah,
Lucas is great. Love Lucas. He's going to do, we haven't really decided if we're calling them lightning talks or quick talks, whatever. Instead of doing one session, we're breaking up his session into 4 15-minute sessions across the 2 days because they're going to be like really impactful, powerful kind of content. Lucas is going to talk about that. And then also one of our sponsors, Boss Up, they talk about the business operating system, like entrepreneurial operating system, EOS, but this is their version of it through a program called the 90, I want to say. And we're breaking theirs up into 3 15-minute sessions just to, one, break up the day a little bit because it's a lot of content. And two, both of them, Lucas and Boss Up, especially Lucas, very powerful content to absorb for your business. This is where it's at. And then just as a point of reference in terms of content, we do have a lot of sponsors this year. We have more sponsors this year than ever, which I'm super excited about. But all of the sponsor talks, we've given them rules, which is you can't tell us about your roadmap. No one cares. No one cares. You have to give us a talk about business and you have to make our businesses better, whether that's using your product or not. That's our rule for sponsors. So every session, whether it's a sponsor session or a speaker session, unless it's me up there being a fool, is going to be something where you can learn something for your business.
Nice. That's going to be huge, actually. If you think about it, sponsors are a way of all the conferences, and it's good. It's a way of also bringing some money behind it. But just if you have to hear them drone on about how here we are, here's what's coming, here's what's good, it's okay. So what?
Yeah.
But if it can be like, here's how we can make you money. Okay, yeah. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Jamf is back. Let's put it this way. Jamf hasn't been at ACES since it's been Bushel.
Wow.
But Jamf is back. Patrick from Jamf really got us in. And actually, Anush over at Advisory got that hook up for us. So thank you.
Patrick. Yeah.
And we were very much like, you can talk about Jamf, but you can't talk about Jamf. You can talk about how MDM is important. You can talk about how businesses can become more efficient by understanding all of the efficiencies within MDM, which you really do learn when you take the deployment and management test, actually. But it was like, hey, if you don't know how to do MDM, especially now, get into it and realize what the efficiencies are, because it'll make you better. Yeah, you could use Jamf or you could use somebody else, but that's the kind of talk we're going to get from a company like a Jamf or Lion Guard or whoever who's going to be speaking about stuff. It's to make your business grow, albeit with a tool. It doesn't have to be their tool.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds very educational, less salesy, which is obviously a good trend for that. I've never been disappointed with the sheer volume of content at ACES. Like you said, it is a lot of content. You cram a lot. I like the format, by the way, of the kind of 2 days in person. You've experimented a little bit, but yeah, having this like concentrated time to spend with our colleagues and just absorb all that content. My advice for people is try to not work during that time. Try to be there at the conference, because the times that really make it tough to absorb the material is when you're like, why has no one on my team gotten back to this person yet? I better open up this ticket and deal with this. And so, yeah, if you can really focus, and most of us can, we all feel very busy all the time, but you can set aside 2 days and you can just focus on the conference, because it's going to benefit you in terms of efficiency for the rest of the year and the coming years. So
I'm going to give a piece of advice to help with that. Starting mid-April, update your signature in your email. And at the bottom of where all your social icons are, literally in bold text, right? I will be out of the office at a conference May 14th through the 16th, and I will not be able to get back to you until afterwards. Do not email me, or something to that effect. Email our support team, email our desk, whatever you want to say. But do something like that, because you're setting the bar and you're setting accountability for your clients and for yourself, which is really important. We talk about accountability a lot. Melanie talks a lot about accountability a lot. Make yourself accountable for being there and being present when you're there. I'm so excited to be back in person after we did 4 years of virtual. Our first year virtual was really tough too, because lockdown was lockdown was March 16th, 2020. Yeah. And we were live. We had to go live. And so we did a 2-day. So Tim Pearson was on board with me at this time. And I was like, let's do 48 hours Jerry Lewis style telethon and just content and raise money for charity. And both Tim and my wife were like, you have little kids at home. Don't be a dumbass. I was like, okay, fine. So we did 12 hours of content those 2 days. And we called it ACES Conference the prequel, because we thought we'd all be back together in October.
Pretty soon, yeah.
And that clearly didn't happen.
Yeah.
So the 2021, 2022, 2023 shows were virtual in our campfire style, breaking it up, because we knew people wanted to work and no one was going to sit on Zoom for 2 full days. But now we're back in person. So now no one, including everyone on this call, has an excuse to not be in person in Salt Lake. I was going to say St. Louis, Salt Lake City.
You got to give people the right city. That's really important.
Yeah. Fly to the right place. One time I flew to a client in Florida and I wanted to go to Miami, and I booked a flight and I got on the plane. It was like 6 a.m. and I got on the plane and I landed. And I get off and the pilot goes, "Welcome to Fort Lauderdale." And I went, "What the hell?" I don't know how I did this. Once I booked the flight, it was on my calendar for weeks, got on the plane and just got there. And it wasn't until I landed that I was like, I'm 40 minutes away from where I need to be.
Right. They almost did that to us on the way back, traveling back to New York from somewhere. We were flying into, I forget if it was LaGuardia, and instead they're like, we're flying to JFK. And the whole plane just erupted. Like, this cannot stand, there was no sign.
Really 20 minutes from one another.
Yeah, like you could figure it out. But I mean, for people that had cars parked at the other airport. It was a pretty big deal to make that kind of change without informing anybody. But I can't quite see getting on booking a flight to the wrong place.
Go to the right place, Salt Lake City.
You were busy at that time. So Justin, one last thing on, you mentioned accountability. Is that a big important aspect of the mastermind? Because now that's like separate from the ACES conference, but I know it evolved from, I remember being there in person, and I think you had started it like as part of the ACES conference. So does that go year round, or what's the kind of deal with that?
Yeah. So the mastermind program is a year round program. It spawned off of the conference as a continuation to make people continue. We wanted them to continue growing throughout the year, because the conference is 2 days and it's drinking from a fire hose of information. Yeah. But what's nice about the mastermind is it's 2 meetings a month, one with Melanie and one with me. And we talk about your wins and the problems you're having, and we try to get the team that's on board with it to help you get through it. We talk through those issues, and it gives you that accountability. So for example, there's members in the mastermind, and I don't want to blow up anybody's spot that's in there, but there's members of the mastermind who, like, sometimes they show up or sometimes they don't. And somebody one time was like, hey, can you just text me when the mastermind is? And I just was like, yeah, I'm going to be accountable for you. And I'm going to text you. And I'm like, yo, mastermind's tomorrow. And the next I was like, mastermind's today at 4. And he's got it. And they showed up, right? Because sometimes you need that. So it's all about helping one another, in that it's a very small group. If we have enough people, we'll do 2 groups, but it's small group. It's less learning and more moving that needle and pushing it to the end to make sure that you're getting through things. There's people in the group who have had problems with clients and had problems with Apple and had problems with things at home or whatever it is. And it's okay, what are we as a group going to do to help you get through that problem? And that's what I love about it. And Melanie is an amazing facilitator and a life coach and stuff like that. And I try to trail behind her on it, but that's a year-long thing. ACESmastermind.com. You sign up. We'll start in the next cohort after ACES conference, and it'll be just another year of just like pushing the envelope to make you do better. But yeah, nice. I love that program.
Yeah, I like the peer-to-peer aspect of that. It's just about building the community and learning how to help each other, and sometimes just talking out a problem. This is what the show's about too. We talk about what's going on in our business, we get advice from each other, sometimes from our listeners. And in a group like ACES Mastermind, you can really make that like more of a concerted effort to get in there, learn how to get help and learn how to give help, and make everybody up level everybody. That's great. Very cool. Yeah. Awesome. So as we wrap up here, any final thoughts on just a final pitch to get people get butts in the seats, as they
come
say?
to ACES and see Sam Valencia in person. The conference is going to be great. Everything's at acescom.com. We have a coupon. If you go to book, I guess you guys will have show notes. You'll have the link. But when you go to buy your ticket, put in Command Control Power, all one word, get 10% off. We actually have an awesome add-on of bring a coworker this year. They get $300 off if you add a second person from your team, because we want owners of companies to be able to like hold other people accountable in their team. It's really tough, especially if you have a team. Like if you're a single person, I get it. But if you have a team, like it can't always be you. Like the buck stops with you, but it can't always be you. So bring a coworker. We have that discount. And we offer this year, because we know that the economy is just garbage, we're offering a travel stipend. acescom.com/travel-stipend. I'll make it linkable. If you go to acescom.com under conference info, I'll make it linkable for the travel stipend. Thanks to all of our sponsors to be able to help us do that. So you're applying for the travel stipends. If your cost of travel is $650 or more, you can apply for the travel stipend. And
Michael Thompson, we're talking to you.
Yeah, Mike Thompson better show up after all the DMs he and I have been throwing at one another over the last couple of days and weeks. But
so it's based on need, or it's just based on the expense for travel?
Sure.
Any of those.
How loudly you complain, Look,
the whole thing is this. We want to make it accessible for everybody to be there. This is the Mac conference for ACNs, right? Because there's not a lot left out there. I'm not going to name names. In all fairness, that person told me that I didn't know what I was doing and I would never make it this far. All right. Anyway.
Where is he now? All right. I brought him up the other day.
Does he listen to the show? Does he listen to the show? No. By the way, for a record, I did one of those smaller shows, and he gives you the content, and I had to do something with a hacker. And the person used the Mr. Robot trope as the hacker, and I changed it to use Shy Guy from Mario 2, but I stuck his face on it. And I didn't know that the audio was going through the entire hotel room. And like when I was like, Shy Guy shows up, and you just hear it really loud. like really loud. I woke everybody up in the audience and freaked me out. But this is the premier conference for Apple consultants, and I don't want anything to stop you from coming. Okay, if you come to me and you're like, dude, I am broke AF, but I need to be here. Send me a DM in the ACES Slack. I'm in Mac admins. It's all under my name. I'm very loud. You can't miss me. Send me a message. Let's work something out. I will get you to ACES and I will help you make your business better. And next year, you'll pay for it.
Nice. When you
Good to hear there'll be a next year.
Yeah.
I always say there's going to be a next year, but every year at the end of it, I go, I can't do this again.
I'm going to talk to you directly after ACES. I want to hear what you have to say. Like,
yeah, exactly.
True story. After ACES Baltimore, I was getting really upset about how I was going and having emotions. I was like having a little bit of a nervous breakdown. I was crying, and my mother-in-law was there trying to console me. And Brian Best was there, and I love Brian Best. He's literally the best Brian. And he was like, come to Kansas City. You'll do better in Kansas City, because he's a big KC fan, right? And so I went and I did it in Kansas City and we did awesome. And then COVID happened. So I blame Brian Best for COVID.
That's fair.
Love you, Brian. He knows that. Yeah, acescom.com. Everything is there. 2 full days. Plan to come early on the 14th, because we have this welcome party that we're planning on the 14th, which could be a really awesome, fun time. 2 full days. Plan to leave on the 17th. I know there's been chatter about things happening at night on the 16th. People are talking about ACES After Dark. I am not involved with any of that. But everybody loves going and having drinks and talking shop. And you guys introduced me to this thing. I think it was Joe. You said cooperation, right? Like a mix between co-opetition, right? Co-opetition.
Yeah, Kim Mannett was the one who introduced me to that in the early days of this, and that definitely describes our industry, especially Mac part of this industry.
Yeah. And so, like, everyone there is a consultant. Everyone there is. Most people there are business owners. Whether you do home users only, or you're a 20-person MSP and you're only doing that MRR and crushing it. There's going to be something for you to learn there. There's going to help something to, whether it's for your business growth or personal growth or team growth, or just to hang out and be like, you know what? Synology sucks. That's what it's for.
Nice.
Why'd you have to call them out?
They haven't sponsored yet, so I'm waiting for them. Then it'll be QNAP. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. We encourage everyone as well to go to ACES conference, and I'm looking forward to maybe getting a little preview of Sam's talk, but hearing about how it goes, especially after he delivers it, because you can't get it without being there in person. So you really have to go.
I'm just stealing clips from the show, and that'll be my presentation.
I'm gonna see. I know Sam's coming. I'm gonna see you guys there. I'm putting you guys on the spot.
So when you were saying, Justin, when you were saying nothing can stop you, and you were listing all of the examples, I wanted to ask you if you could like somehow change the date of my 10-year wedding anniversary. Is that power? Because
here, I'm going to answer that for
complication.
You right now. I don't know. I'm going to answer that for you right now, because in the ACES Slack, which you can join if you go to acescom.com and you can find the conferences where you go to Slack, I'm pretty sure in our general channel, Ed Lucas from 215 Tech, who's out in Salt Lake, just posted, if you're coming to SLC, you can find information on our ski resorts. It's still ski season in May. Nice. So come and enjoy the nice powder with your wife on the slopes after the conference, man. Don't let that stop stuff.
There you go. Don't let that stop. He's got an answer for everything. Nothing should stop.
Because you live in an area, Joe, where you don't get to ski very much.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you still in a van down by the river? Where are you, man?
I'm in Boulder, Colorado, so I'm pretty close to skiing. But
you know what? Salt Lake City is a beautiful city, I've been told, and there's awesome downtown. Look, my family comes out that second day, and I spend the weekend there. I want you to come. You know what, Joe? Let's do this. You come, okay? You're gonna come. You're gonna we as a conference will celebrate your 10-year anniversary with your wife.
And we'll make a thing of it. Just so we know, Adam Rice in the chat, he says it's his 25th wedding anniversary, so you guys can all celebrate together.
Getting one up.
That's amazing. Yeah, wow. Adam never ceases to amaze me. Like I thought he was about like 30 years younger than he is, or something.
I know, right?
Like 25-year wedding anniversary.
You look at that headshot. You're like, did you get married when you were 1? What's going on over there?
Exactly. Yeah,
that headshot was from the day he was married. That's why.
Wait, real quick. Speaking of headshots, I want to just point out there's other conferences I've been to, and there was one conference in particular that had a photographer there to do headshots. And this is hilarious to me because they post all the headshots on the Facebook page later. And I'll find the link. I'll send it to you guys, put it in the show notes. But every person was wearing a blue shirt, and you got to go to youtube.com/@command-control-power to see what I'm doing. Everybody was like this, right? Everybody stood with their chest up, and they were very like, on the line, on the angle. And if you scroll through it, then you find the pictures of me. And I'm like, bam.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't expect any less.
Yeah, you would not expect it. But yes, acescom.com. Come, nothing will stop you. Oh, I'm getting DMs. Oh, I'm getting DMs from you. Yes, we mentioned the 10% discount, right? And then the travel stipend. We have the hotel room blocks. You get discounts at the Little America. We're trying to figure out transportation, but the whole thing's going to be awesome.
Amazing.
Looking forward to it.
Make your business better. That's what it's for.
Right on.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Thanks for being on here as
Justin.
usual.
Yeah. Great talking
Love you guys.
to you. Special thanks to the following community members whose strong monthly support has sustained us for all these years. Ryan Gowdy, corecompetent.com. Weldon Dodd, kanji.io. Richard Wingfield, envisiondesign.net. Adam Rice, askadam.io. Mac Admins Podcast, podcast.macadmins.org. Tim Nyberg, themacguys.com. Michael Thompson, origin84.com. Matthew Waples, waples.net. Tom Puls, boxit.tech. Jerome Potters, pitpro.nl. Steve Sorbo, macsos.biz. Andy Espo, callandy.com. And Nate Sinal, weareascout.com. Thank you all very much, and thanks to our patrons at every level of support. If you enjoy the show, we really would love your support. And if you already support us and can increase your monthly pledge, we really do find that encouraging. commandcontrolpower.com and click support. Thanks very much for listening and for supporting the show.
Jerry does his voices of customers of all kinds.
Am I on the cloud?
Joe spins his deeply detailed yarns all the time.
I have a whole story about this.
Sam is on the road again, phoning in from a hotel.
At least we know where I am.
Half a cent